I've had so many people make comments about my body and what I look like. Like, I've had men say, don't get too muscular. Alrighty, guys, just like I said in a video previously, the best way to not skip the things you don't like is doing them first. We're going to start with calves today. Very light, warm up. Also, side note, if you feel like calf raises like this or hack squats or anything and you get a whole bunch of like red scratch looking marks on your shoulders, that's totally normal. It's just from like the weight of the machine being on your shoulders. So that happens, don't panic. You will be okay. All right, seated abductions next, or not seated, standing abductions. But just warming up the glutes before we start going to some heavier stuff. If you really struggle with warming up, like engaging your glutes, maybe you have a desk job, you sit all day, start with like clamshells, things like that. That can really help you start to feel your glute activate. I know it sounds like a really weird thing, but mind muscle connection, super important. Your fitness journey can be very isolating sometimes because it's the dumbest thing, but like people you're friends with, family, people you're close with, they don't want to see you win a lot of the time. They don't want to see you better yourself because it reminds them or shows them that they're not doing the things to make themselves better. And it kind of brings out their insecurities more. So it's really common to like get very negative comments from people in your life when you start making your health and your fitness more of a priority. I was talking about that with my clients yesterday in our group coaching call. And the amount of moms that make comments or judge or criticize or make fun of you for wanting to change is actually honestly really heartbreaking. And I hope our generation will break that cycle. All right. Induces squatting, which I don't really squat anymore. I used to barbell squat all the time, and then I got an ankle injury and didn't barbell squat for like a year. And I used to squat like 3 times a week. My old boss that I worked for wrote me programming and helped me get my squat up to 255, which was amazing. And then I got injured, and then it sucks trying to come back from an injury because you feel like you literally are starting over, and you're like, I worked so hard to get to this point. Having to squat with like just a bar was really just disappointing. So I actually don't squat like at all, except for like the pendulum squat. And I told myself I was going to change. So I'm going to start squatting a bit more. Probably not going to get to the level that it was before. Something I want you to pay attention to. So this rep, I'm going too low. You can see my low back rounding, and it's called the butt wink, right? It makes this little curve and your butt winks at the bottom. We don't want that. We want to stop and come back up. If you are doing the butt wink, it can be tight ankles, tight hips, lots of different things. But if you can't do ass to grass, that's okay. It doesn't mean it's not a good squat. A slight butt wink is okay, but you don't want to do complete rounding and then going back up. Okay? So we're going to stick right here. You want to hit at least 90. All right, we're going to set up for some hip thrusts. And I've said it many times before. I'm lazy. So if there is not a hip thrust machine, I'm not doing it. Like I was saying earlier about just people not being supportive, like that's pretty common. And I feel like moms are some of the biggest offenders when it comes to that. And I know, like, my mom's generation, there was like a whole different view on food and fitness and health and all of those things. And I understand they're projecting, but it can be very frustrating and discouraging, right? So I think it's one of those things where you need to create boundaries. Either you talk to her about it, let her know that it's not okay, it's something that bugs you, bothers you, or you block her on social media, or you separate yourself. Like, I think there's conversations that can be had, and if they don't respect that, then you can take it to the next level, whatever you feel that needs to be. And I'm gonna kind of call my mom out on that, and she's gonna watch this video, so it's like nothing against her, but this past weekend she visited me and she made a comment about watching my YouTube videos and saying, like, you don't need to lose any more weight, you look great the way you are. And I understand it was coming from a good place, but it's not needed. I don't understand why we have to have such, like, why people give a shit about other people's bodies and their goals. Like, just let them live their life. It doesn't impact you at all. And again, no shade to my mom. She's my best friend, but I did call her out on it, and she said it. And I asked her, how does my body impact you? It doesn't. So no comments need to be made. Going up in weight for our next set, but I've had so many people make comments about my body and what I look like. Like, I've had men say, don't get too muscular. Family members, ex-family members, like, everyone's just always in your business. And that's honestly why I just kind of stopped giving a fuck and I call people out on it. Because I don't understand why people feel like it's their place or why they even have a right to make comments. One of my clients shared that, like, she was posting a lot of fitness stuff on her stories and her mom made fun of her for becoming a gym rat. And I'm just like, why do we need that negativity in our life? You can, by the way, block certain people from seeing your stories, from seeing your content without unfollowing them. So if you've got like nasty family members or friends that just are not supportive, you can do that. So they don't see any of your stuff, but you're still not unfollowing them. So there's, no drama. But you need to do what makes you happy. Next, we're going to do RDLs with a dumbbell and a resistance band. I've been kind of switching up how I've been doing RDLs lately. Barbell's still my favorite, but I've just been kind of changing it up. A band is really great if you struggle with RDLs because it gives you tension to push against. So remember, RDLs is a hinge in the hips, right? We're hinging. Feeling that stretch in our hammies, up and squeeze. It's not a rounding of the back. It's not a bending of the knee. It's a hinge, like we're shutting the door with our glutes, and then we drive through. So a resistance band will give you some tension to work against. So we're going to make sure we have good tension. Okay, like it's almost going to pull you back, but not quite. Grab your dumbbell. Feet are about hip distance. Knees are soft. Hinge. Feel a stretch. Up, drive against the band. Down. Up. And my shoulders are down and back. It's not about how low you can go. It's about feeling the stretch. Back up. I'm going to show you guys from this angle, but don't be perps. This is just to show you. Different angle, engaging the glutes, okay? Resistance band. Grab, bless you. Grab your dumbbell. Hip distance. Hinge. Up. Hinge. Up. So how I was talking earlier about people making comments. It's happened many times in my life. I had one of my college boyfriend's mom made a comment about me being healthy, which was just a nice way of saying I had gained weight. And like, I don't know if people realize like that stuff sticks with you. And maybe if they understood that, they wouldn't say shit about your body, your weight, whatever. But like, I've had plenty of clients be like, my doctor doesn't need to tell me I'm overweight. I know I'm overweight. Like, we don't need to be reminded all the time. And I'm not sure when people started feeling like they have permission to say stuff. I think the internet is a huge part of that because, you know, everyone's a keyboard warrior now where they can say whatever they want and think there's no repercussions and they're protected because they're behind a screen, even though they say things they would never say in real life. But, you know, protecting your peace, protecting your circle, surrounding yourself with supportive people is very, very important. I think that's why when people start focusing more on their health and fitness, they become friends with people at the gym. And those people start to replace other friends because those people get it. They understand. They're supportive. No one's going to like celebrate you and your progress quite like somebody else that has gone through the same thing or is trying to do the same thing. And just like I said in my last leg day video, just like a seated hamstring, you're going to flex your feet and drive through your heels and bring your feet as close to your butt as you can. You always exhale during the work part of an exercise. We are finishing with seated abductions and using the ugly pads because this machine sucks. So, abductions are one of my favorites though. So we make it work. Also gonna do adductions because I'm really good at neglecting these, but they're super duper important. I think I'm honestly just too small for this machine. I'm only 5'1", so a lot of times I have to like finagle machines to make them work for me. And I like to pause for a second in the center, really make sure I'm squeezing my adductors. Oh my gosh, that reminds me. I can't remember his name now. I'll put it on the screen, but my client showed me him. It's a online coach, trainer, whatever. Oh, he calls Adductions apple duckies. Like he does videos with his pit bull, and I'm obsessed. I have a pit bull. His name's Tank, and he's just the goofiest, sweetest boy ever who just turned 10. He's getting up there, but watching this guy's videos makes me super happy. Anything with a dog, I'm gonna watch, especially if it's fitness related. Come on. All right, so we are finishing with 10 minutes of walking just to kind of cool down. Thanks so much for watching another episode, and I'll see you guys next week.